At Xbox A, we're going to go back on some of the games that have been updated for the new consoles and let you know if you should go back and play them. Coming off the Division 1, the anticipation for Division 2 was high for most fans of the game. The Division 2 is a third-person shooter that relies on cover-based shooting. You can play with a group of up to 4 players at one time or do it solo and roam the world. Division 2 was released on March 12, 2019, so it's been almost 3 years since its initial release. Division 2 takes place in Washington, D.C. after the virus has set the world upside down. The release game looks nothing like the game you can play now. There have been many updates to the game, along with some quality of life improvements. The original release had a compelling single-player or co-op campaign, and some endgame content. There are many secrets to find throughout the game and items to collect. The loot system was nothing to run home about. It felt like it had a lot left out, especially after the Division 1. I'm still finding that exotics to be underwhelming, and most times high-end weapons end up being better of the two. Division 2 had a higher Metacritic score with an 82, and the original game only received an 80. But more fans seem to like the Division 1. Both excellent scores, but the players seem to stay longer in Division 1. 3 months after the game's launch, the active player count was still in the 8,000 range, but come August of that year, the player count drastically dropped to 4,000 range. The game had a resurgence in September of 2020, but my guess is because the game went on sale on Steam or on consoles. They released the DLC Warlords of New York in March of 2021, and the player base didn't come back. Along with the DLC in March, they changed a lot of the game. Even before that, they gave free DLC to all the players. With Warlords of New York expansion, you got the introduction of the manhunts, level 40, season content, and we even got to go back to New York City where the Division 1 even took place. They gave us a roadmap of things to come. They made the game enjoyable again. It could have been too late for most players because it didn't seem to bring anybody back. The overhaul of the crafting weapons and gear and allowing us to have a recalibration library was a massive boost for players. There was so much content you could get lost in the game for hours. The loot drops didn't always feel like a grind, and your character always progressed. The next-gen consoles even updated the game again with patch 12.1. They gave players reason to go back with 4K graphics and 60 frames per second gameplay. I originally played this game on my PS4, which was 1080p at 30 frames per second, and put over 200 hours into the game. It felt like a whole new game when I revisited it on my Xbox Series X. With all the DLC and upgrades, I have once again found myself playing it every day and always find something to do in the world. They still have an average player base around 4,000 players a day, and I think if the players played what the game looks like now, they'd probably get hooked. Division 2 goes on sale a lot. I even picked it up for $11.99 over the holidays. When Ubisoft Plus comes to Xbox, I think people will give this a shot again and find out what I did when I jumped back in. I highly recommend this to anybody who has a next-gen console upgrade on the Division 2. And if you're thinking about jumping back in, let me know, because I'll join you. Thank you.